Podcast, episode number 17. I'm your TV terminating, comic book collecting, movie messiah, video game god. Or you can call me Corey.
What's up? It's Just Jess.
Corey and Just Jess here for the 17th episode of the Geek'd Up Podcast to bring you everything that happened last week in geek. So first off, we have Margot Robbie, Xbox, and Wes Craven in Geek'd this week. Welcome to Geek This Week, our weekly segment where we pick some of the top news items and we bring them straight to you in under 5 minutes. So let's get it started. In a recent interview, Margot Robbie talked about losing the role of the Invisible Woman in the Fantastic Four reboot to Kate Mara. This was before she got the role of Harley Quinn. Now, was Kate Mara's character called the Invisible Woman? Or was it just considered that because no one saw the Fantastic Four?
The first image of Michael Fassbender as Callum Lynch in the upcoming Assassin's Creed movie has been released. Filming is set to start in September, and then every September after that.
Curious who the new teams will be in the upcoming Civil War movie? Jeremy Renner let us know, along with Hawkeye's new suit.
During The Walking Dead Season 6, a standalone web series will take place in which passengers are up against zombies on an airplane. This will take place during the Fear the Walking Dead timeline. The best place for a Fear the Walking Dead is definitely in the darkest corners of the internet. AMC did something right with this series.
Zoom has been cast in the upcoming season of The Flash. Well, kind of. Tony Todd is going to voice the character to give it a Darth Vader kind of feel. Really? Did somebody from the CW just compare a CW show to one of the biggest villains of all time and one of the biggest franchises in history?
PlayStation Blog just announced Uncharted 4: A Thief's End will be releasing March 18th, 2016. You can get it in November on Xbox.
Xbox One just announced the Xbox One Elite Bundle. It comes with an Xbox One Elite controller and an upgraded console with a 1TB hard drive and a solid-state hard drive that gives you 20% faster loading. It's scheduled to release this holiday for $500, a price tag that definitely guarantees it'll be ignored next to the PlayStation 4.
Bill Murray said in a recent interview why he's in the new Ghostbusters. He basically said he really likes the girls and he doesn't want the movie to have a bad rap. You know, because Garfield 2 did so well because he was attached to it.
Oscar award winning.
Really it was.
Marvel's film division is no longer under the watch of Marvel Entertainment. They'll now report directly to Walt Disney Studios under the chairman Alan Horn. Is it safe to say that Marvel Films and Marvel Entertainment are in the middle of a civil war?
Steven Spielberg's DreamWorks Pictures is ending its distribution deal with Disney. It's rumored that it may be going to Universal. But what did Universal do to lure in Steven Spielberg? Oh.
It's kind of a big deal. In a Q&A, John Boyega was asked if his life has changed at all since being cast in Star Wars. He said his scheduling has changed a little bit, but he's still not being recognized. Cherish it while it lasts, John. This man is now the actor all actors strive to be, and his character the most beloved in film franchise history.
Tatiana Maslany, Gina Rodriguez, and Olivia Cooke are all up for a role in Star Wars Episode 8. I mean, it has to be Maslany, right? Fuck it, just give her all the roles.
Wes Craven, writer and director of many movie franchises such as Scream and The Nightmare on Elm Street, lost his battle to brain cancer last Sunday. There's no joke. You will be missed, but your movies will always be remembered.
Tuesday was unofficially Mad Max Day, as the Blu-ray and game were both officially released.
Are you trying to say that it was a lovely day?
I am.
That is it for Geek This Week. Those are the news items we thought were interesting to bring to you in under 5 minutes. Let us know if there's any you saw that we didn't that you thought were interesting. Now it's time for Top of the Stack, where we got DC and Image on this week's Top of the Stack. Welcome to Top of the Stack, our weekly comic review where we bring you what we thought were the best comics this week straight to you in a little segment we call Top of the Stack. This week we got a couple Image and also a DC comic. So first off, you started with
The Mantle, number 4.
Image Comics.
Image.
By Ed Brisson, Brian Level,
Image
and
all
Jordan
around.
Boyd.
Yes.
So let's get into this.
Let's get
The
into
Mantle.
it. All right. So we see our main character, good old Jen. She is at home trying to have a night out with her friends, but her friends just want to talk about Robbie. I think that was his name.
Yeah.
Robbie and how he passed away. And Jen is obviously like, I don't want to talk about this. They have no idea that in her head she's thinking this is my last night to live, so I just want to have fun. So she ends up storming away. She buys some mushrooms. She goes on this nice little trip that you'll have to read the comic to see. It's pretty funny.
She talks to her giant cat.
Yeah. So it flashes to her colleagues, or not sure what you would call the whole group.
Her
Protectors.
Yeah.
So, the plague is there, beating them all up, and one of the characters, a little bit something worse happens to him. I'll let you read that to figure out what happened with that. But something really interesting was said in this issue.
And what's that?
The plague said, "This has never been about revenge, but mercy." What does that mean?
Well, we do go on to find out about, they do kind of talk about, we already know that the first mantle was an
drunk.
alcoholic.
Yeah.
And basically did what he did just because he was drunk and stupid. So it kind of is, you know, I guess the mercy, we kind of do got to figure out what that's about.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're finding out that the plague definitely has a reason to be doing what he's doing. But
so then one of the members, her name is Necra, she decides she doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. Maybe he is doing this for a reason, and they're just sacrificing all their time and for no reason. So after Jen goes on this trip, she decides she's going to face the plague. So she goes out to this town in the middle of nowhere, snowy woods area, and she fires up her powers so that the plague will come and get her. The plague comes, and I will leave it at that. We will see what happens next issue. I'll let you read it to get some more of the really in-depth details. All in all, this was a good one, and I think it's really leading up to something that's going to be
epic.
Epic, exactly. That's a good word for it. I mean,
epic.
Okay, you said epic.
I know, okay.
So, I'm going to give this one a Michael Keaton. I think the next one's probably going to get a higher rating, because I think it's going to be epic. I said epic.
Word of the day? Epic. I as well am giving this not a Michael Keaton. I give this one a Christian Bale. I thought that it really brought the story forward even more. We learned a lot more, which we didn't even talk about in the review. It really brought light to some things, some really fun things with the cat that's going on and the drugs and is the plague bad? Is he good? I thought it brought a lot of things to the table. So it is getting a Christian Bale and a Michael Keaton from Geek'd Up. Now, I read The Empty Zone #3 by Jason Sean Alexander. This is also an Image comic. It starts out with our protagonist, Corinne, driving or riding in a car with her, shows her arm hanging out all tore up, trashed, and she's going to get it repaired. Now, this next scene is probably my favorite scene of the week out of anything I read. You meet these crazy, colorful guys that are just straight out of, like, I don't know, Big Trouble in Little China or Blade Runner, so bright, and it was just so bizarre. These Asian guys, they were from House of Choi, they called. They're the mechanics, the surgeons, and they have this little thing where they walk in, and they're so happy to see her, and they look over at Hank, and they're like, "You, not so much." And Hank's like, "Oh, come on, that was forever ago." And they go, "It was a month, and it was our mother." And he's like, "Oh, come on, the heart wants what the heart wants." And they're just like, "Fuck you, die." Like, it's just such a good scene, and it's so bright and colorful. Like, we've dealt with this dark world for most of it. And you get here, and they're just like, "Hey, fuck you." You know, it's just, it's really cool. I like it. My favorite scene so far. But then it gets dark again. They put her under to do surgery, and she says, "Well, put Hank under too. I need to talk to him, a little business." So put him under, and they get to talking, and he's like, "Why is it so dark in here? I thought it'd be a dream. It'd be nice with rainbows and unicorns." She's like, "Well, what can I say? I'm not a very imaginative person." So you get a little insight into her mind and where she's at, and she really brought him in there to access something that happened in the alley in the earlier issue. She says she thinks something possibly beamed into her head, and the only way they can access it is through these Choi brothers, going under in their shop and using some of their techniques. So they open up and they find what looks like a recording of something terrible happening. She realizes, no, that's not that. It's actually a memory, and she doesn't know how they're accessing these memories, but it really goes right to the point of her being ambushed and losing her arm. We still don't know why. We want to know why. But she wakes up, goes on this big thing, says she's 8, who is her boss, who hires them to do jobs, is there to, like, get her another job and needs her right now. It's time sensitive. But she books it. She's like, "I can't do it right now," and runs away. And, she's really trying to process what's happening. It's we don't really know. We don't get a lot of answers there. It's more visual. You get to kind of see what's going on without really learning exactly what's happening. But she meets some guys in the alley, some things happen, and then she goes and meets her friend Tim, the bartender. Some more things happen, and then some more things happen. Now, those more things you've got to read, because I don't want to ruin all that stuff, but it is a big book as far as what's happened so far in the story. You're going to get some really good pieces of information. I recommend reading it if you are reading it already. What did you think about it?
I liked it. There was, like, a lot of information, I feel like, in that one. I felt like I should have read it again, though, just to really soak up the info, but it was a good one. Learned quite a bit about her. But all in all, I'll probably give this one Michael Keaton. I should have read it again. It probably would have gotten a Christian Bale otherwise.
I am also giving it a Michael Keaton. I think it did need a little more. You get this really awesome scene at the beginning, and you get some sporadic, weird, kind of nonsense. You don't know what's going on, and then you get the last 2-3 pages are wow. But yeah, all in all, that has my favorite scene of the week by far. But it just wasn't quite there for Christian Bale, like you said. So, Empty Zone #3 by Jason Sean Alexander from Image Comics is getting a Michael Keaton from Geek'd Up.
All right. Now we got some DC going on.
DC! I don't know why I did that.
Okay.
But
All right. Is
And
it
what-
all out of your system now?
Yeah. And what did we read?
Doomed number 3. I forgot to write down who it's by.
So are you saying that you forgot to write down that it's written by Scott Lobdell and art by Javier Fernandez? Mm-hmm. So you forgot that? Mm-hmm. Well, now they know. And did you also forget that Ulysses Areola is the colorist on it? Now they know. So let's get on to
I
the
didn't forget it.
Then what did you do? Not want to do it?
Okay, I did forget it. All right. Anyway, there's some shit goes down in this one. I actually had to reread one of the scenes. I was like, I've got to be reading this wrong. Like, there's something wrong.
Which scene? Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah. So, basically, we flash back to, Roman.
Yes.
Roman. Riser is our main character.
Riser's the main character.
Okay, yeah. So we flash back to Roman, who is Riser's best friend.
Roommate, too.
And roommate. He is on a school trip to a museum where the museum gets ambushed by people trying to steal stuff. And shots were fired, and his boyfriend, girlfriend, looked like a girl to me.
You know, here's the weird thing is it kind of looked, to me it looked like a boy, a man.
Oh, really?
Guy. But they were talking like it's a girl.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's an art discrepancy or if it's supposed to look like a guy.
Yeah.
And it's the female guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But we don't know. But
okay.
Anyway.
So his
Let
lover...
us know what you think about that scene.
Yeah, really not sure. So his lover gets shot, and he goes to try to find help, but in the meantime, he got shot as well, and he's bleeding out of his leg. And he's like, oh my god, I need to find a tourniquet. And lo and behold, right in front of him is a gold rope that was on display at the museum. So why not tie that around your leg?
Possibly $1 million, $1 billion, once in a lifetime artifact. Why not use that?
Just take it.
I mean, that's what I'd do.
Anyway, so flashback over. We go back to reality, present day. Riser and Roman are walking wee-wee.
Are you skipping that on purpose? What happens?
Yeah, because I'm going to go back to it.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. So they're walking wee-wee, and they're, having these awesome best friend conversations. When this is the scene that I'm like, I'm reading this wrong. I'm reading this wrong. This has to be wrong. So they go their separate ways. Riser is thinking to himself, why is it so hard to tell my best friend that a monster takes over my body whenever it wants? He was the first person I told was gay. Why can't I was gay, so why can't I tell him this? And I was like, Riser's not gay. What is... And I literally read that scene probably 6 times. And then I was like, fuck, Jessica, you're stupid. So...
I thought it looked like a guy.
So, flashback.
So don't tell us in the comments, because we just figured it out.
I felt like it was a girl, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it looked like a girl. So, anyway, we're going to flash back to when Riser put that gold tourniquet on his leg. What happened when he put the gold tourniquet on his leg?
He became a superhero. Kind of.
And I'm just like, what the fuck?
So now we're dealing with both 2 heroes.
Yeah.
Possibly anti-hero.
And they both, really want to tell each other, but they don't know how. And that's not even half of what happened in this one. So, okay, all that happens. Now we know that Roman is a superhero of sorts. So anyway, back to Roman. Wee-wee runs away from Roman. Or is taken.
From Riser.
Why did they name it Roman and Reiser?
It's just so Geek'd Up podcast would have a horrible time trying to pronounce their names.
Yeah, fuck me.
Scott
Anyway.
Lobdell was like, you know what? I'm going to screw with them, and I'm going to make their names how they are. But anyway, Wee Wee had to Wee Wee. And...
Actually, I skipped some.
we don't need to go over
Okay. Why not?
because they're going to read it.
Anyway, so Wee Wee has to Wee Wee. And Reiser is like, where the hell's Wee Wee? Goes, looks for him. Who do we see? The little kid from the last issue is holding Wee Wee.
And the funny part about it, throughout the issue, Wee Wee will lick every single person except Reiser, who is the one taking him on the walks.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to this villain, and Wee Wee is licking him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then growling back at Reiser. But we don't really want to tell him what goes on from there.
Okay.
Because that's kind of a big deal when you look at this villain versus hero. What happens? Something weird happens.
You guys read it. Seriously, and there's even more that happens after that. And it wasn't even a very long issue.
It was a standard issue.
So much info.
Mm-hmm,
It's a good one.
Yes.
It's a good one, as we like to say here.
We've literally never said that. But, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give this one a Christian Bale.
And I am as well. This comic is starting to make its way up the ladder of my favorite comics. Like, I got the first issue thinking, I'm going to try this out.
Yeah.
Really liked it. Second issue, really liked it. This one is, it's like they keep getting better and better and better.
Yep,
They're
I agree.
funny, but they actually have a story, and it's really good. It's really, I even said in the first one, it's Scott Lobdell. I have issues with him. Like, I like half of his stuff, and I don't like half his stuff. And I felt like this was going to be half that I didn't.
Yeah.
And I was completely wrong. I'm so happy I was wrong because I really like it. The art is great. The story is great. It's funny. There's action. There's romance. It's got everything. So, Doom number 3 from DC Comics is getting a Christian Bale from Geek'd Up. And that is it for our top of the stack reviews, but we do have a couple of honorable mentions that we'd like to tell you. The first up on the honorable mentions is Postal Number 6 by Matt Hawkins and Brian Hill. Really like this, the whole series. I really like it. This one, Doom to me was so good that it ended up bumping Postal off. But it's still a really good series, and I recommend you reading it. That's why it's on the list. And also, Wolf number 2 by Alesh Kott. We reviewed the last one, the first one where he's a paranormal investigator that has possibly the Antichrist living with him now. That story continues. Really good, but we did have a couple just slightly better ones, and then one really good one that made the top of the stack this week. So I recommend, if any of those interest you, they're definitely, all 5 of those are worth picking up. So go ahead and do it. But that's it for top of the stack this week. Let us know if you agreed with our reviews, if you thought they were better or worse than what we thought, and we will get back to you. It is now time for the weekly poll. Welcome to the weekly poll, Geek'd Up's weekly comic haul, new comic day, new comic book day, all those hashtags. It is the day we go over all the issues we are getting this week to review in a future episode. So, this week, as usual, we have DC, Image, and Marvel. So let's get into it with this week's weekly poll. In Action Comics number 44, the Truth Arc reaches its conclusion as Superman finds out the truth behind the Shadow Warriors.
And in Batman Superman number 24, this Truth Arc reaches its finale as Superman discovers the true fate of Batman and makes a fateful decision.
Dun dun dun!
What does it mean?
It's the origin of Mr. Bloom And watch as Batman tries to figure out a crime in the shadowy streets of Gotham. And you can't miss this one because it's drawn by superstar artist Jock in Batman number 44.
And in Bitch Planet number 5, the bitches enter the arena for their very first death sport match.
Bitch, please! In the very near future, we learn the secrets behind faster-than-light travel. The whole universe is now open to us, but are we ready for it? In the very first Faster Than Light number 1 from Image Comics.
And in Outcast number 12, Close to Home, our second story arc draws to a close as Kyle's attempts to set his life straight just keep pulling him deeper and deeper into darkness.
In Savior number 6, John Doe's, or Mark's, past is finally revealed.
And in Star Wars Darth Vader number 9, Darth Vader has a new mission for the Empire. Unfortunately, it's completely at odds with his own missions. What's a Dark Lord to do?
What's a Dark Lord to do? For the first time in Star Wars canon, let's journey past the end of Return of the Jedi in Star Wars Shattered Empire number 1 of 4.
The up-and-comer finally gets what's coming to him, and things will never be the same in Suiciders number 6.
In Walking Dead number 146, a breaking point has been reached.
And in The Wicked and the Divine number 14, Woden stayed away from the spotlight. But in this issue, we look beneath the mask.
And that is it for this week's The Weekly Poll. These are all the issues we're getting this week and going to review on a future Top of the Stack. Let us know what you're getting. Are you getting some of these, or should we be getting some that you're getting? It is now time for a Geek'd Up dramatic reading.
And now, a Geek'd Up dramatic reading.
Alright, so what do we got this week?
This week, before we get into the dramatic reading, we're going to do a dramatic interpretation of a small scene on Fear the Walking Dead this week that was so masterfully acted, so brilliantly scripted, so amazingly gifted of an actor and writer that made this scene that I'm going to do my very, very best to interpret it for you.
Alright, let's see
ready?
it. I'm ready. Okay.
And here we go. Well, tell them what the scene is first.
Okay. Scene. We are all on a public bus. The bus is stopped in traffic. The door comes open.
And I enter. Hey! The cops just shot a homeless man! Shot him like 20 times! Scene. As you can see, it was such a compelling, brilliant scene that just could never have been cut from that show. It makes perfect sense in the timeline. I mean, why would a bus driver not let a man just jump on board?
Yeah.
And why wouldn't every single person on board get off with this man they've never seen before to go see a homeless man that's been shot 20 times? It's so brilliantly written and something that just would happen in everyday life that I thought I had to bring it to us.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing that with us.
That show is just so top-notch. It just makes every other show just look like it's been written by children.
I mean, God. It makes The Walking Dead look like shit.
Yeah. Rick ain't got shit on bus driver get-on guy number 1. Tell you what. But anyway, that's that. But this week, we are doing a scene from The Beauty number 1, which we reviewed last week. And in this scene, they go to the beauty sex house to try to find the anti-sex guy.
Yes. Makes sense.
Yes. I will be playing Foster. You will be playing Kara.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, if there's a guy involved, I'm doing it. If there's a girl involved, she's doing it. That's it. So let's get on to the dramatic reading for Beauty number 1 and scene.
This is disgusting. These people make it so easy to hate them.
Have you seen this guy around? Oh yeah, ugly bitch lives upstairs. Upstairs? Yeah. Only one with a door on it. Please, open up, please. We'd like to have a word with you.
Nobody's home.
I'm gonna call this in. What the hell, Vaughn?
This place is a shithole. What's one less door? This is definitely our guy.
Good thing since you kicked in his goddamn door.
It's done, Foster. We can't undo it now. Just help me clear the room. Clear in here.
What is all this?
He's got everything here. Pro-beauty, anti-beauty. He's following the whole thing.
Jesus, this is insane. Is that a... Pow, pow, pow! Get down! Stop!
Foster, wait!
Ah!
Come on, he must be headed for the roof.
You have got to be kidding me. He's headed for the roof access over there.
He's got to be headed down. We can cut him off.
No! No, no, no! Freeze!
Don't you fucking move. Put your weapon on the ground.
Do it now. You don't understand. I have to. Only way. Beauties, just save them. Save us all.
We can talk about all of that, but first we need you to put the gun down. Now.
I just trying. The beauties, just trying to save us. People like her. Bang, bang, bang!
Get his neck. He's bleeding out. Apply pressure.
Shit. He's fading fast. Call it in and tell them get the EMTs here quick. Save you all. And scene. That was our dramatic reading for The Beauty #1 by Image Comics. Let us know what you thought about that dramatic reading in the comments below. We will get back to each and every one of you. Let us know what maybe you want us to read next time, and we will get on to it. And now it is time for the geek to verse the girlfriend in Geek vs. Girlfriend.
Round one. Fight.
This is Geek vs. Girlfriend, the segment where I, the geek, go against her, the girlfriend, in a battle of wits and guessing. So, follow us on this journey as we see who wins and who loses, who's right or who's dead wrong. Last week, I had you read Bodies #1 by Cy Spencer from Vertigo Comics, and you said it was what?
It was about a suburban family who likes to kill people for fun.
And they look normal, but at the drop of the dime, they could switch.
Yep.
Were you right, or were you dead wrong?
I'm dying on the inside. I was dead wrong. Basically, this whole issue in a nutshell
Was the script for Tove Love's famous video, Talking Bodies.
Yep.
No, but really, what was it?
Okay, so basically it was about a body, one body, that has shown up in 4 different time periods.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is trying to figure out what it's from, where it's from. It has all these weird markings, and we get a little tiny glimpse of what it may be. Seems like it may be a cult, witchcraft, something to that nature. And that's basically the gist of it.
Oh, the first issue, yeah.
Yeah, the first issue was kind of, I guess, setting up for the rest, because it was kind of jumping back and forth through a lot of things. So it was kind of hard to follow, but I don't know. I didn't really care for this one that much. Did you really like it?
I did like the series. It's an 8-part miniseries. It is over, so if it sounds like something that interests you, you could pick up the trade.
Mm-hmm.
When it was all over, I was kind of like, what the fuck? But while the ride was happening, I did like it. That first issue, I really liked the premise.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really care for the execution because I was confused quite a bit.
Yeah.
Especially when it came to the future girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what is she talking about? Bouncing ball or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck? I'm like, what is that? But yeah, so me personally, love the premise. The art is done. Each story is done by a different person to make sure you know where you're in a different time
Yeah,
period.
which the art was really good.
Yeah.
How it was portrayed.
Yeah.
That was
The
just
story.
Yeah.
It was kind of mumble jumble in the first issue.
Yeah.
You get a little more into it. But so what do you give this first issue? In Geek versus Girlfriend.
Probably below a Michael Keaton. I can never remember that one because I never give it out.
George Clooney?
George Clooney!
Ooh. So, she is giving it a George Clooney, and I am giving it a Michael Keaton. So, Bodies Number 1 by Cy Spencer and Vertigo Comics is getting a Michael Keaton and a George Clooney from Geek'd Up. So, that was last week. This week, I have a little something also from Vertigo Comics by Tim Seeley called Effigy Number 1. Take a look at this and tell me what you believe it is about.
Suggested for mature readers. Let's see.
So you're looking at that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to... These all kind of look like the same person. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
How does that make sense, though? Okay. This comic is about a person who leads 3 different lives. A police officer, a hipster, and some little girl who wants to be a superhero or something. That's what it reminds me of. And then this boy here is her love interest.
Okay. So you're saying this comic is about this woman who is now a police officer.
Well, she has 3 different lives. She's all these people at once.
All those people at once. A police officer, a hipster, and a little girl who wants to be a superhero, and her love interest is that man on the cover.
Okay, can I change my story?
Sure. What is it?
Okay, so I think it is about this lady who is a police officer now, and these 2 other girls on the cover are her as a young girl and as a teenager, and this boy on the scene was her love interest for a while, and something happens to him, and she is the first on the scene. And she tries to figure out what happened to him.
Gotcha. So we are locking it in. Girl on the cover is now a police officer. Comes up on the scene of her boyfriend. May something be completely wrong, severely wrong with him. But we also get to see 2 other periods of her life. One is a little girl, one is a teen. That is your answer. Come back next week to see if she is right or if she is dead wrong when we come back for Geek versus Girlfriend. But now it's on to round 2 in Girlfriend versus Geek.
Round two, fight.
All right. So last week was pretty fun. I asked you, what does Chris Brown own 14 of? And you said
14 hairless cats, bitch.
And I would say, bitch, you are wrong.
Shit.
Dead wrong. So, he actually owns 14 Burger King restaurants.
I knew he was high class.
And according to Burger King's corporate website, a person must have a net worth of at least $1.5 million and $500,000 in liquid assets to qualify as a franchisee.
For one?
For one. So 14.
I'm guessing there's a lot of money in beating women. So.
Ouch. But he deserves that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week
So I was dead wrong. So what do we got this week?
Well, I had trouble choosing which one I wanted to do. This week, I'm going to go with a Houston teen male died while he was posing for selfies by himself. What killed him? How'd he die?
Man, you always do these that are so vague, it's ridiculous. Anything. He could have been shot. He could have been hit by a car. He could have fallen off a cliff. He could have had a heart attack. I don't know. Was there something? Wait, you're going to tell me where he was? What he was taking a selfie with or anything like that?
He was at home in a room.
Taking a selfie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to say a teen in Houston was at home taking a selfie of himself in a bathroom. Is that the right room? Or it doesn't say. In a bathroom where he slipped, fell, hit his head, cracked it open, and died. Final answer, locking it in. Come back next week to see if I'm right, if she's right, if I'm dead wrong, if she's dead wrong, on Geek vs. Girlfriend and Girlfriend vs. Geek. And that's it for Geek vs. Girlfriend. Let us know what you think in the comments below when you like, comment, and subscribe. What did you think of these stories? What do you think the answers are? What would you like to have her guess the comic of next week? And that is it for the Geek'd Up podcast this week. Let us know what you thought when you like, comment, and subscribe below. We will get back to each and every one of you. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekeduptv or Twitter at twitter.com/geekeduptweets. And until next time, stay geeked up. I usually say hug a xenomorph, but this week, throw your Freddy Krueger claws in the air for Wes Craven, always.
Always.
Yeah, that's me, I'm Hope. My mom's name is Janet. Hooked up with Scott Lane with plans to save the planet.
Villains can't stand it that they're getting tossed. From street thug to the boss, it's Ant-Man and Wasp.
No matter what's the cost, we'll save the human race.